even.
Really?
As much as possible.
Wow.
Because a lot of the olive oil is scams. Like they're mixed with and rendered down with a lot of canola oil often. So unless you read your labels and see where your olive oil is coming from, there's a good chance you're not getting true olive oil.
I could see that because there's no way they can make it for $5 at the grocery store. That's what they sell it for. So.
Right.
All right, guys. Got Tracy Lee here today. Someone I've known for a while now in Vegas.
Yeah.
4 years now?
4 years.
Nice.
Yeah. I love it out here.
Yeah.
Love living in Vegas.
You pulled up carrying.
What? Oh, yeah. Always. I always carry, and it's funny because people have no idea. I'll be wearing the skimpiest outfit, and they're like, so where's your gun? And I'm like, trust me. I got it.
Nice. So even the casinos you bring?
I plead the fifth.
I know some of them are strict. That's why I asked. But Vegas is concealed state, right? So you could kind of bring it wherever.
Yeah, but there's certain ones that have signs at the door that I may or may not see when I walk in.
I bought a Glock when I moved here.
What did you buy?
Just a regular one, Glock 9mm.
Glock 19? 17?
I think so, yeah. One
Yeah.
of those. I don't know guns.
Is
that
it
well.
big? Really big
No.
or medium size or small?
I'd say small, actually.
So there's a Glock 43, which is really tiny, but I don't think you would shoot that. Your hands would be too big.
No,
for
it was like $500.
I'm
So
going to
whatever that
assume
was.
it's a Glock 19.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got to learn how to use it.
Let's go.
You'll take me?
Yeah, I'll
Shooting?
take you.
Where do you shoot out here?
Well, I run social media for the Pro Gun Vegas out in Boulder City, so we can go use their range.
Nice.
Or I go to the desert, and I go for indoor ranges. I go to range 702.
Okay. What drove you to get so passionate in that space?
So I was traveling around the world with the UFC, and I guess Dan Henderson took me shooting for my first time, and that was after one of his fights in Portland, Oregon, and we went to shoot skeet afterwards, and translating shooting at moving subjects on in the cage to shooting on a range. It translated super well. So I got addicted, and then I built a relationship with one of the gun ranges here in Vegas, the gun store, and I used to take all the fighters there, and they would let me shoot for free.
Nice.
If I brought fighters in because they were huge fight fans, and we're talking about, I think 2009, 2010. So I mean, it became an era where we were going shooting, and then we go out to the racetrack and race cars down at Exotics Racing. We do doom buggies. I was always taking guys because I had a website where I would shoot behind the scenes of the fight industry. So I got addicted to shooting guns in that process. And then in 2015, I actually started taking classes, bought my first gun then, and the rest is history. So I'm almost 10 years in the firearms industry, like really, really in depth in the firearms industry.
That's badass. Do you do those shooting competitions ever?
I do shooting competitions. I'm not like some hardcore shooting competitor, but I shoot, ironically, I shoot an AK competition once a month.
Nice.
And, that's why it's kind of sad with everything going on in the news today. It's sad that this guy decided to use an AK.
I was just going to ask that.
Yeah.
Why do you think he picked that gun specifically?
I'm not sure, and it could have to do with Ukraine. They use a lot of AKs overseas in Russia, Ukraine, and so on and so forth. So it could have something to do with that. But yeah, the minute I heard there was an AK, I was like, oh God.
You knew?
Yeah.
Damn. Are they that common?
AKs?
Yeah.
There's a big subculture for AK-47s. We prefer overseas AKs to US AKs, but there are some good quality US AKs coming out now.
Interesting. So why are the overseas ones better?
They're just the original ones that built them.
So we tried to copy them.
Right.
Got
exactly.
it.
So there's a lot to the process of building them that that they do better.
It's like cars. There's not many good American-made cars.
Exactly.
So America, in terms of gun quality, we don't rank that high.
I mean, there are some great companies, but it seems like, Glock is from Austria.
Oh, okay.
And
that's a small country.
Right.
And they make all the Glocks?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I think there's actually probably a factory here in the States, just like all of the overseas, car companies, they all have factories here in the United States too, but they're originally designed overseas a lot.
This episode of Digital Social Hour is brought to you by BetterHelp. How do you keep cozy during the holiday season? My favorite way is wrapping up in a blanket and watching Christmas movies with my family and 2 dogs, Milo and Otis. The holidays can be tough on people, and seasonal depression is no joke. Therapy is a great way to bring yourself some comfort that lasts even when the seasons change. It's also a great way to learn more about yourself and understand any big feelings you may experience. You deserve to be the happiest version of yourself, and BetterHelp is here to assist you. BetterHelp's also conveniently all online and ready to work with your schedule. Just complete a brief questionnaire to match you with a licensed therapist today, and enjoy the freedom to switch therapists anytime you'd like in case you don't like the therapist assigned to you for no additional charge. Find peace and comfort this December with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/DSH today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/DSH.
Not all guns, but a lot of guns are.
Damn, that's cool. So you were there at the UFC before it really kind of took off then. 2009's pretty early.
Yeah, I think I started shooting UFC around 2006.
Wow.
End of 2006. I was, my first fight was Stephan Bonner versus Forrest Griffin 2. I didn't make the first one, but the second one.
That's super early.
Yeah.
So did you see it like taking off like this?
No, I mean, we didn't know. I mean, I thought at that time that was already taken off. You know,
Right.
it wasn't super mainstream, but it was more mainstream than underground at that point. I didn't get in there at the full on underground aspect where, you know, it was called no holds barred. You know, so I've been around fighters and fights for a very long time, and it's been interesting seeing it all change. I mean, they just did the fight at the Sphere,
Right.
and I was watching a lot of responses to it. I didn't go. Mm-hmm. It was really cool to
$1,000.
see. It looked incredible, but I didn't even watch it on TV. But the responses I saw from like Brendan Schaub had really negative response.
I saw that today.
He called it Rainforest Cafe. He said it looks really cool, but it didn't taste good.
Well, the fights probably played a part in that.
Yeah, and I was really surprised that they didn't have, and I don't want to knock any of the fighters, but I was surprised they didn't have like superstar fights.
Yeah, well, Jones got injured. Conor McGregor's injured. I think the timing was just bad.
Yeah.
You know?
So hopefully maybe they'll do it again with a bigger and better card. And again, not to knock any of the fighters because Valentina is an amazing fighter. Merab is an amazing fighter, and congratulations to both of them.
Yeah, just from a fan's point of view, that kind of style doesn't translate well.
I'm not sure. I didn't see it. I saw a lot of social media from people that were there, and it looked amazing. And I saw it looked like Mortal Kombat, you know, the stage on Mortal Kombat kind of thing. But I didn't see it on TV, so I don't know how well it translated on TV. But I mean, looking at what Brendan said, it didn't translate very well.
Yeah, and you used to be involved with the parties, right? Before the fights and after the fights.
So I took that upon myself. I was the unofficial social director for the UFC, and I would throw pre-parties. I would get sponsors. I would get fighters to, you know, host the parties, or I would host them myself. I had my own website. It was called Combat Lifestyle. So I would shoot the fights, the weigh-ins, so on and so forth, and also I would shoot pre-parties, post-parties. That's why I threw them, is so I had the content.
That's smart.
So I've been building content from way before anyone was really building content.
Right, because you were doing photography before even social media existed, right?
Right. I mean, I always like to joke that I've been doing social media since before it was called social media.
What gave you that foresight, you think? You just liked it, or?
I was on so many of the different websites. We're talking Friendster and MySpace and all that stuff. And, you know, I messed up on MySpace. I was one of those, why would I accept all these people as my friends when I don't know them? And you got Forbidden and Tila Tequila and all those people accepted everybody that requested them. And they ended up with hundreds of thousands of followers and, you know, book deals and TV deals and so on and so forth. They are no longer alive, so maybe it's fortunate that I didn't do that, but it was probably put them into bad situations in having that much fame at such a young age. But I don't know.
Yeah, those rarely work out. Those
Mm-hmm.
child stars. So
They weren't quite child stars, but that was back in the day. They skyrocketed.
right, overnight fame back in the day. Having 100K on MySpace was like a huge deal, right?
Right.
Yeah. You mentioned TV shows. You're about to be on a reality TV show.
Yeah, I have a reality show coming out in end of September. It is called American Air Gunner Challenge. So it is kind of like, I've been told it's kind of like Top Shot, but I actually don't watch TV very often, so I haven't seen Top Shot. It's like Top Shot for air guns. And it comes out on the Outdoor Channel. There's 8 competitors. We went out to Arkansas in the heat of summer at the beginning, in May. And we had to deal with a lot of weather. There's one day we almost had, I think, lightning storm, hurricane type thing touchdown. But it was a lot of fun. I had a great time out there. And when we landed in Arkansas, we were all on the plane together coming from a layover in Dallas. When we landed, we took a group picture together. And the girl that took the picture for us was like, oh, that's the last time you're going to like each other. And we're just like, oh my God, hearing that previous seasons didn't necessarily get along. We had the most fun. It was so hilarious. And I'm actually in the process of editing a video using the Full House music and the Full House theme to put us all together in a video introducing us right before the show launches.
Nice. What platform is it going to be on?
Probably Instagram, TikTok, YouTube.
Okay. So you went independent route?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, for this, because we're all going to collab on the video yeah. So as far as the video introducing us, that's all us.
Got it.
We were doing TikToks and, dance videos throughout while we were filming, just as long as we didn't show the actual show. It was
smart, little behind the scenes. You're always thinking like that, right? Capturing the in the moment stuff.
I did follow me watch me get ready as a reality show contestant.
Yeah, that's cool. So, I want to talk about the health stuff. This is where it gets interesting.
Yeah, because it's so political too. Just like firearms are really political right now, the health stuff is really political. So I've had some health issues and been anemic for the past 7-8 years at least.
Wow.
I can't even target when I started because I didn't know. I didn't know I was anemic for a long time. So I started in November. I guess I can go back a little bit. I did the keto diet in 2017 to 2019. I was in ketosis all the time. But I didn't know that spinach and almonds and almond flour and a lot of the things that you eat on the keto diet are high in oxalates. So I ate those things as if my life depended on it and ended up with kidney stones.
Damn.
I ended up with 3 kidney stones in 2019. I passed them in September. I was on a range in Arizona, followed by a range in Florida. So a week of, or 5 days of passing kidney stones.
Holy crap.
While I'm training and shooting.
You had that many?
I had, so that was 1 kidney stone. It took me, 4 or 5 days to pass. And like clockwork, I was taking CBD and ibuprofen to get through it. Get home, I think I've got, I don't know, a bladder infection or kidney infection or something. Get home, think it's a bladder infection. I address that. And then I have another kidney stone in October. And this one put me in the hospital. And so they did a CAT scan and figured out, oh, you have kidney stones. I said, oh, that's probably what happened in September. You got 2 more.
Jeez.
So I passed the kidney stone in October. And then, so September, October. And then the third one was in December. So the December one, actually the funny thing about the October one, I had scuba lessons that day. So I was like, okay, I'm going to drive home. And they're all, no, you're not. They gave me Dilaudid and Tramadol.
What?
So I'm on narcotics and I'm going to drive home. And they're all like, no, you're not. So my friend Myra comes and picks me up. I'm going to Thailand the next month. So I need this scuba certification. She drives me to my scuba class and I puke out the door on the way there. And I get to scuba class and they're like, thanks for being late. I was about 10 minutes late. I have my hospital bracelet on. I'm all like, well, I got my hospital bracelet on. They're all, you didn't have to come. So everybody thinks I'm crazy because I went to scuba class, but it was only the classroom portion. If I had been getting in the water that day, I wouldn't have gone. just to clarify. But yeah, I puked one more time during class.
Jeez.
Finished class.
Trooper.
But I had to do it. So, and that's the type of person I am. I try and push through anything. Fast forward to the third kidney stone. I'm in Houston, Texas for an AK competition and
Travel a lot.
event. Yes, I do. I'm out there for an AK competition and event. And the morning after the competition, I'm getting ready to head to the airport, start passing the third kidney stone.
Oh, at the
I
airport?
knew it was coming.
Oh
I knew it
my
was
God.
coming. And they had no ibuprofen. And I ended up taking, what's that powder ibuprofen?
Powder ibuprofen. I don't
It comes.
know.
It starts with a B. It comes in a little packet and it's powder. I tried to take that, and it doesn't come in a pill, so it doesn't have the coating. It doesn't go down easy. I puked immediately. So I go to the airport. I'm on the plane, dying and pacing, sweating at the back of the plane, and the flight attendant's all like, "Are you okay?" And I go, "Kidney stone," and she goes, "Oh my God. What can I get you? How can I help you?" So she knew immediately. So it probably took me 14, 16 hours to pass that one.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It was horrible.
That's terrible. And that was all from the keto diet?
That was from the keto diet. And that was because I didn't know. And now there's tons of stuff that comes out, tons of videos out there that explain how bad oxalates are for you. They're little sharp razor thin, pieces that the vegetables use as their defense mechanism.
Right.
They have no way to defend against you eating them. They're not like animals have defense mechanisms. That's their defense mechanisms. So when you have oxalates in your system, some people are more sensitive than others. They bind to calcium and they turn into kidney stones.
Wow. So when you see all these vegans and vegetarians,
Right. There's a good chance that they are living with a lot of kidney stones.
oh my gosh.
And especially stuff like spinach and leafy greens and kale and so on. So I'm one of those people that definitely looks at a list and knows what I can and can't eat now.
Yeah. I used to love kale chips. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. But I cut them out completely.
Yep.
I used to
It's-
eat them all the time.
What made you stop?
I think Dave Asprey could have been one of those guys that were talking about it. Oxalates probably. Something
Same
like
thing?
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus all the parasite stuff now is really sketchy too. And they're saying it's in a lot of vegetables, raw vegetables.
Parasites in almost anything. If you let your dog lick your face, you got parasites in it. And that brings me to what I've been working on since November. I'm getting rid of what I call the 5 Ps. If you include parasites, it's 6 Ps. It is plastics, preservatives, pesticides, processed foods, products, everyday products, and parasites. And so I've been going through, and I made a long list, and I'll show you that list at some point, of all the things that I'm trying to change and get rid of out of my diet. And you can actually add PFAs, phthalates, to that P list. It's funny that they're all Ps, but yeah, I've been cutting all that stuff out of my diet. So I changed all my cookware, no more plastic. I don't drink out of plastic bottles. Even these are bad.
Aluminum?
But they're coated in plastic.
Oh, they are.
So inside they have plastic in them. So
What?
Yes.
I didn't know that. So all cans have plastics in them?
Yes, all soda cans, they have a plastic inner lining
Wow.
in them. So not trying to knock Coco Love, this is delicious. It just has to do with all cans. They have an inner lining in them of plastic. So I got rid of plastic bottles. I carry around a stainless steel cup with me everywhere. It's over there. I changed no more plastic, containers. Everybody does their meal prep. I use glass containers now for that. I got rid of the plug-ins. That was another P.
Oh, the air fresheners?
The air fresheners, yep. And the little trees that you hang in your car.
Oh,
Got
those are
rid of-
terrible.
Got rid of all of those. They all have phthalates in them. And what's crazy is when you smell them, it's like your body actually, it's not necessarily smelling it. It's sending your body a signal to smell something different. So it's kind of masking it, but it's not getting rid of those horrible smells.
Wow.
So I'm not a professional in this. I am not, fully educated. I'm self-educated in all of this. I'm an autodidact. And everything that I've been doing and learning has been alongside Misha Tate, the UFC fighter. and she has done a lot of teaching me. I spend a lot of time in her hyperbaric chamber to help with my anemia, to help oxygenate my blood. So I know I'm all over the place with this, but there's so much to talk about. And I don't think we can even touch on it in 1 hour if we wanted to.
Yeah.
But I've been doing all that and changing all that, and it has helped some of my health issues. I went from, I know this is horrible to say, but I went from having 2 to 3 month long periods down to having normal length periods now.
So you were having them for 2 months?
I would have a period for not the heaviest days would be the first 7 to 14 days.
Yeah.
And then I would have consistently keep going.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Because they're supposed to be a week, right?
They're supposed to be probably, normal 3 to 5 days.
And you were having it for 2 months?
2, 3 months.
For how long?
The last 7, 8 years.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
That's insane.
So my anemia was through the roof. And so going to an animal-based diet, eating red meat every day, eating eggs, getting carbs, carbohydrates. Natural carbs I'm okay with. So on an animal-based diet, who I found out about the animal-based diet through Paul Saladino.
Nice.
And I'm a big fan of Paul Saladino. I'm a big fan of Sean Baker. Is it Baker, his last name?
Yeah, I've seen his stuff.
Yeah, and he's the guy who started the carnivore diet. And it's amazing what you see that the carnivore diet has done for people and the animal-based diet has done for people when you look at what the FDA has told people for the last God knows how many years. And you talk to Jordan Peterson and he says the food pyramid is a total marketing ploy and a total scam. And I 100% believe it. 11 servings of carbs a day, that is absolutely insane. Because we look at it, now that I know what I know, the keto diet's not wrong. You just have to do it right. And a lot of people do the keto diet wrong. And that's what I was doing. So I leaned more into the animal-based diet, which again is red meat. I eat a lot of grass-fed beef. I'm eating raw milk. It's hard to find in Las Vegas. I eat raw kefir, which you can find at Sprouts. I'm eating raw cheese as much as possible. I don't know if you saw me bring in a hunk of raw cheese.
No, I love raw cheese.
Yeah. And I also am like eating frozen blueberries. I'm eating raw honey. And the big one I'm eating just started recently is raw liver. I eat grass-fed raw liver. And I tell people all the time, because I put videos up of it on my stories, don't call me liver queen because I don't love this. I don't love raw liver.
Yeah.
But I eat it raw because if you cook raw liver to 160 degrees, that will get rid of the bacteria. It will also get rid of all the nutrients that you're taking the raw liver for in the first place.
Did you get inspired by Liver King?
Not at all. It had nothing to do with Liver King. It had to do with Paul Saladino.
Okay.
Yep. He eats raw liver every day. And it's funny because I was looking at some of the podcasts you did. One of the guys on there said he started losing all the hair on the front of his legs because of an overabundance of vitamin A. Liver has a ton of vitamin A, and you can definitely have issues from the toxicity of it. So I feel like Liver King was doing people an injustice by telling them to eat all this liver and potentially, hurt themselves or kill themselves on it because of how toxic it is. So I eat half an ounce a day of raw liver, and that's it. I probably can do a little bit more than that because that works out to 3.5 ounces a week. They say between 4 and 8 ounces a week, but you don't want to eat a ton of it because of that toxicity.
What about the bull testicles?
I have not tried. What do they call those? Rocky Mountain oysters? Is that what that is?
Something like that. Liver King eats them.
Yeah, nope. Sorry.
Those are probably hard to find. I haven't seen those anywhere.
I don't know. I buy all my meat from the butcher block, and I haven't searched their freezers to see if they have bull testicles, but they have kangaroo and they have camel and they have elk. They have venison there. So
I'm a fan of elk and venison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a freezer full of deer right now.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
That you hunted or that you bought?
That I hunt.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Where were the deer at? In Nevada?
So the deer was in Michigan, and I also hunted a ram up in Utah.
A ram?
A ram.
What
So
is
that's
that?
lamb.
Oh, lamb.
Lamb, yeah.
There's wild lamb out there?
Well, I mean, that particular one, I was on a ranch.
Oh, okay.
So it was a 65-acre ranch, and it was my first time hunting. So I got a turkey and I got a ram.
Nice.
And as much hunted meat as I can put in my freezer, I am down to do. I'm looking to get another freezer right now so I can buy a quarter cow and quarter grass-fed cow and put that in my freezer.
I've been looking into that because you save a ton of money.
Yep.
Because it's like a couple thousand, right?
I'm a big fan. Well, that's not what I want to do it. I want the healthy meat. I don't want the farm processed meat, just like the farm processed, the farm salmon.
Oh, I
It's
would
just
never eat that.
horrible. It's horrible. And we go back to talking about parasites, the amount of parasites in those meats.
Just seafood in general, too, with
Correct.
parasites. I cut back sushi heavily.
I cut back sushi as well, and I love sushi so much.
I used to go to Sushi Neko all the time.
Right, and I went to sushi. I went to Jenga over on Flamingo, and I love that place so much. But because of the parasites, I have cut back a ton.
And the microplastics.
And the microplastics, exactly.
Yeah,
Yep.
those are
And
awful.
And that's, I mean, again, changing all the stuff in my life as much as possible. Like, wait till you see the list. And there's a list of things I have that I'm thankful I didn't do. And one of them was the vaccine. I am so thankful I didn't do the vaccine.
Same.
And I'm also thankful I didn't do any tattoos. And some tattoo ink is good, but some of it is really bad.
So that's actually affecting people, tattoos? How so?
Yeah, there's toxicity. Toxicity in the inks. And I'm trying to think what else. After I got my boobs done, I stopped wearing bras, and I started wearing sports bras. So the sports bras that I've worn for the last, almost 20 years have been cotton, mostly cotton. They have a little bit of spandex in them, but they've been mostly cotton. Do you know that there's phthalates in a ton and forever chemicals in a ton of the athletic wear that we wear, and a ton of the shine,
Yeah.
and Temu stuff.
The fast fashion stuff.
The fast fashion stuff. So there's tons of phthalates and forever chemicals and BPAs and all that kind of stuff in those things. And I, for the last 20 years, have worn Fruit of the Loom sports bras, which is I'm very thankful because that's where all our sweat ducts are, all the things that are really important that absorb this stuff. I'm just thankful that not out of knowledge, just sheer coincidence that I did that.
Yeah. Apparently some of those boob jobs, they use poor quality materials.
Right. The bags.
Yeah, the bags. And it
Yeah.
leaches into the bloodstream, right?
Yeah, I have to do some research on that. I'm trying to get through everything, all the products, everything that I've done, everything I've done in my past and everything that I'm doing currently in my future. And the list is long. If I can change 50 to 80% of what I've done or what I'm doing, I think that if I don't already have some kind of long-term disease and cancer, that I potentially won't get it.
You could detect that now too with Prenuva.
What is Preventative?
Full body MRI scan.
Oh.
Yeah,
I'll
it
have to look
detects
into
disease pretty early. Yeah, look into them. It's exciting that these companies are starting that are more preventative now.
Is there somewhere in Vegas that you can get that done?
I don't know if they're in Vegas. It might be in LA, but there's a lot of these preventative tests now that you could do, like blood tests, gene tests. Have you done any of those?
I just did a blood test last week, so I haven't gotten all the results back.
Which company did you use?
Oh, I didn't use one of the companies. I actually did my annual at the doctor and then gave him a list of all the blood testing that I wanted done.
Nice, that's cool. Yeah, because if you don't do that, they'll just test like basic stuff.
Correct.
It won't be comprehensive.
It was like fighting with my doctor. He's all, well, he looks at the list. He's all, well, I wouldn't normally prescribe half this stuff. I said, yeah, but I want it.
Right.
And so I went through and then I talked to Quest Diagnostics to see what my insurance was going to cover. And fortunately, everything I chose, my insurance covered.
Really? That's rare. I feel like it wouldn't cover
So
most.
I bet you there's a lot that I missed, but I'm still learning all of this.
Nice. And you make your own sunscreen too, right?
I do.
How do you do that?
So I take the beef tallow that I render from beef fat and you mix it with unrefined coconut oil, beeswax, and oh my God, why did I just space that?
Beeswax.
And zinc oxide. So unrefined coconut oil, the beef tallow that I render, and beeswax and zinc oxide.
Okay. I love coconut oil. I use it for oil pulls.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
You do that.
Yeah.
What do you think of it?
Amazing. If you go back to my first episode, my teeth were so yellow.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about doing that. So
should
you
do
use
it.
unrefined coconut oil,
No,
right?
I use coconut oil. What's the difference?
So unrefined, it doesn't go through a lot of the processing, so it's a little bit healthier.
Really? Okay, I got to look into that.
So you can get organic unrefined coconut oil.
Where
so
can you get that at?
I mean, even I don't know how good a quality, but even Walmart has the unrefined coconut oil.
I didn't even think about that. So even just coconut oil is processed. That's crazy.
Yep, and that goes into seed oils, right?
Yeah.
You look at seed oils, the process, and the scam that canola oil is.
Right.
It is such a bad thing for our diets. I've removed all those from my diet as much as possible. So I'm cooking with homemade butter. I make
Nice.
butter at home. And I also am using beef tallow. I'm staying away from olive oil even
Really?
as much as possible.
Wow.
Because a lot of the olive oil is scams. Like they're mixed with and rendered down with a lot of canola oil often. So unless you read your labels and see where your olive oil is coming from, there's a good chance you're not getting true olive oil.
I could see that because there's no way they can make it for $5 at the grocery store. That's what they
Right.
sell it for. So
Right.
that's why I order.
Don't buy your olive oil at the 99-cent store
Hell no.
or the $1.25 store, whatever it's called now.
I buy my olive oil from Brian Johnson because I know he
Yep.
third-party tests it and everything.
So I've been looking at Brian Johnson a lot lately, and I know he spends millions and
Oh, yeah.
millions of dollars in doing everything he's doing. But everything that he is doing, I look at his diet and so on and so forth, is so different that what I see, the peers around me and the people I look up to are not doing what he's doing.
Well, yeah, he's vegan, so that's a
Right.
huge difference. Plus, he's taking 120 supplements a day.
Right. And to me, I mean, I guarantee his supplements are high quality, but I stopped taking a lot of my supplements, and that's why I switched over to raw liver. Because the supplements that you get, if you're looking at the jar, has tons of fake, synthetic supplements. We're talking about folic acid instead of folate,
Yeah.
which you can get folate in meat and in liver. And we're talking about cyanocobalamin instead of actual B12. That's a synthetic B12. So a lot of those things, I was going through and I bought iron supplements this week, and I'm looking at all the labels and all the crap in them, and I was just like, I can't do this. Like I found titanium dioxide in a ton of the iron supplements, and
Jeez.
I'm like, why is there titanium dioxide in this? Why do they need that? And then a lot of them had cyanocobalamin in them. I'm like, what is going on? So, and again, I am not educated when it comes to this stuff. I just know all the research that I have done that some of those things are really bad.
Yeah.
So I made sure when I got the iron supplements, there's no coating on them. They're little white pills that, if you're not careful, it's going to dust off, and they're going to, like if you put it in a plastic bag, they'll probably end up disintegrating.
That's crazy.
Because they don't have those coatings on it. I'd way rather not have the coating on them. I'd way rather throw it to the back of my throat and hope it doesn't hit my tongue, and I don't want to taste it. But if that's what I have to do to get all this crap out of my diet, that's what I'm
Yeah.
going to do.
Yeah, the more natural, the better. Do you find social media censoring you when you talk about this type of stuff?
So I haven't dove into talking about the health stuff too much. I do have a separate account for it. It was it used to be called Keto Chasers, and I was doing it when I was on the keto diet. I changed it to Healthy Chasers because of the fact that I'm no longer specifically on the keto diet, but getting into ketosis I think is very important. So I haven't talked about it a ton. I'm just now starting to put stuff out on that.
Got it. I've had a couple videos censored.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not surprised. They're censoring anything that is hindering big pharma, that is hindering the food companies, the big corporations, which I'm sure you know this, but I'm not sure everybody watching knows this, that all of the big food companies are owned by the tobacco companies. So you're talking about the Nestle's, the Kellogg's, the General Mills. They're all owned by the tobacco companies. The tobacco companies are excellent at marketing to our kids and excellent at marketing to us to get us addicted to their foods.
Oh, yeah.
With the sugars and the processed foods. And, that's why I think that it's great that Robert Kennedy Jr. has dropped out of the race and gone on Trump's side, because I feel like there's no way that Big Pharma and the healthcare system and the corporations would allow RFK to get into office with his mission that he's on to make America healthy again. But with him by Trump's side, if they can get into office, I think he stands to be very successful at what he's trying to do.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see what kind of changes he gets, because, those companies are so good at marketing to children. I still remember those cereal commercials growing up, like the Cocoa Puffs and Tricks for Kids and all that.
And Fruity Pebbles and Fruit Loops and all that stuff. And it's funny, Oreo, and I love Oreos.
I used to love those.
The
double
love
stuff.
Oreos so much. Oreos just launched a Coca-Cola Oreo. I saw it going viral on social media, and on Facebook I commented, all I see is red 40.
Jeez. That's still not banned here?
One side of the cookie is completely red. All I see is red 40. So I go and look up, and someone goes, boo-hoo, waha. That was their response. So I go to their page, and this is probably not nice, but I go to their page, and I look, she's overweight.
Yeah.
And I very calmly say back to her, well, perhaps if you were concerned about stuff like this, instead of making fun of me, maybe your weight and your loved ones' weights would be a lot more in control.
Right.
And, it was funny. The whole thread of people commenting on the Oreos was people excited about the Oreos. And then my post was all these different people commenting, oh my God, I thought the same thing. Oh, wow. Talking about the red 40 and siding with me on that. So I don't know if you've seen that there's a lot of stuff when it comes to autism, and they're talking that kids by 2030 or 2035, it's going to be 1 in 2 kids that have autism.
Damn.
They have about 1 in 5 right now.
Which is crazy.
Which is insane. But autism didn't barely exist, back in the 50s, 60s. As things have changed with our diets and so on and so forth, that's very prominent.
Yeah.
And a lot of them react really negatively to heavy metals and to the dyes in our foods. And that's the Doritos and the Cheetos and all the fruit roll-ups and so on and so forth. And it's funny. Have you seen the Parasite? I don't know what it's called because I can't say it, but it starts with COCH. It's a red parasite.
I haven't seen it.
They're using to color food now.
What?
It's in a lot of foods. And you see they're making crickets in food now too.
I've seen
Cricket
the bug
protein.
movement. Yeah, there's a couple celebrities that have been promoting that.
I sit there and I war with, do I want to eat this parasite, that is used to color food, or do I want to eat these manufactured colored dyes? I'm going to eat the parasite all day long over those. Yeah, it's not a live parasite. They're using it as a coloring in your foods.
Yeah.
So do I want something natural versus unnatural? That's where I
100%. It's so crazy. 1 in 2 in 5 years. That means everyone watching this, if you're planning on having kids, you got a 50-50 chance.
And if you are planning on having kids, it's really concerning as far as what your diet is, because kids are being born with cancer because of what their parents are eating going into it.
So even the mother, what they're eating.
And the father. Not just the mother. It's the father as well.
Really?
Yeah. Because he's half of that baby.
And they don't think about that.
You don't think about that. And I mean, it's in your alcohol. If you think about it, your alcohol is made from, like your beer is made from hops that are sprayed with glyphosate. And glyphosate is one of the most prominent pesticides out there. And glyphosate is, it's doing all different kinds of things to your body. It's an endocrine disruptor. It is, causing people to be sick. And that becomes a part of your sperm. And that gets passed down as you have a baby.
Wow, it gets passed through the sperm?
Well, I mean, not directly, but, the unhealthiness of it. I can't say. Again, please, don't take me as I am not the end-all, be-all on this. I'm doing my own research, and I'm possibly not articulating well. But, Yes. I mean, your unhealthy habits are passed through the sperm. Yes.
Damn, that's scary times, man, because glyphosate lasts for decades, they're saying.
Correct.
So you can't just get rid of it easily, right?
Right. It's in your system. And then heavy metals as well. And I mean, they found lead in what are the kids' Lunchables?
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Lead in Lunchables. I mean, it's in everything. And you have to really pick and choose the way you're going to eat. So I'm eating whole ingredient foods as much as possible. I am going to the local farms. I pick my own fruits and vegetables at the local farms. I'm picking up pasture-raised organic eggs as much as possible. You know, I'm doing all those things. We can't get it. We can't get rid of it. Like, it's in our rainwater. But we can reduce it as much as possible. Right. We can make those choices.
And speaking of Lunchables, did you see Mr. Beast and Logan Paul just launched a competitor?
No, I didn't.
Lunchly.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. So what is their shtick on it? What is their...
I was disappointed because they had a chance to make that like a healthy competitor, but instead they put a Prime bottle, Mr. Beast chocolate bar, and then processed deli meat, and that's a Lunchly.
So they're just going head to head. That's it. They don't care about...
It didn't seem like that. I got to read the exact ingredients, but I feel like that was an opportunity that they could have, you know, made some movement on the healthy.
Well, especially with Prime having lawsuits against it for having certain ingredients in some of their Prime bottles. I don't think all of the Prime products have it, but I think it was... I don't remember exactly what substance was in it, but it was 3 times the amount that was legally allowed.
Wow.
Yeah, and he went through a lawsuit on that.
Damn.
Recently, within the last year, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, anything artificial is going to be obviously not good for you in some capacity.
And then even they banned it from Gatorade. Gatorade had this substance in it as well.
Oh, really? Well, Gatorade's terrible for you too.
Correct.
And we drank that all the time as athletes growing up.
Correct.
And they market it in a way where...
It was healthy.
Right. It was good for you on the field to get those electrolytes.
Yep. And electrolytes are important. I won't argue that at all. But getting the right electrolytes and looking at your labels, that's the biggest thing. I can't tell you, I probably annoy the hell out of people all the time. I look at labels of things that they're eating and I'm like, this is crap. This is crap.
There's an app for that.
What am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
There's an app for everything. But what app is it?
Yuka.
Yeah, I used Yuka.
Yeah.
I don't always agree with Yuka because
Really?
of me being on the animal-based diet. Yuka, for example, I use coconut aminos to make a garlic sauce, an Asian garlic sauce that I used to cook with. And when you scan it in Yuka, it will mark it as being bad and then give me referral to all these different soy sauces. Well, guess what? I'm trying to get soy and that estrogen out of my system. I don't want that. And so I'm using the coconut aminos instead, which has no soy in it. And the reason why it marks it as bad is because it's got too much sugar. Well, it has blossom nectar, which again, going back to what I'm doing in my diet, natural sugars is okay. I'm not trying to do any processed sugars, and I'm definitely not doing any erythritols and xylitols and all the fake sugars, except for allulose. Have you heard of allulose?
No.
So allulose is, and again, don't quote me on this, allulose is the closest thing you can get to sugar without actually being sugar. It doesn't, your body doesn't digest it, so it just passes it through.
Oh, wow.
It's probably about 70 to 80% the sweetness of sugar. And of anything that I've seen out there and all the research that I've done, it is the only sugar substitute that seems to be doing good, but it's a lot newer than erythritol. At one point, people were like, erythritol, xylitol were great, and now they're shown to be toxic, causing heart issues, heart conditions, and so on and so forth. And when people say monk fruit, okay, monk fruit's great as long as it doesn't have erythritol, but it is often binded with erythritol.
Wow. So allulose, I got to look into that because we like baking at our house.
Yeah. And the cool thing is, a lot of people don't know the secret. If you use allulose in your ice cream, or even in your cookies, it makes them softer. It doesn't harden the way sugar does if you don't do the ice cream right. You know, if you want to just make your own ice cream at home, the allulose actually keeps your ice cream softer.
Wow, good to know, because I love soft cookies. People that eat the hard ones are freaks.
Yeah.
Like, what are you
I
doing?
like them crunchy around the edges and soft in the middle.
Oh, yeah. It has to be soft in the middle. Like,
Yes.
when it's hard the whole way through,
Do you know how hard it is to say no to crumble cookies?
I don't like crumble. It's too sweet for me.
Yeah, they're very sweet. But I'm just saying those kind of cookies in general, it's very hard.
Oh, yeah. The average
But-
person can't turn that down.
Right. But I mean, again,
It's
you're
like
looking
50
at
grams of sugar in one
sugar.
cookie.
No. And that's another thing. I don't drink coffee. So
Oh, really?
I never got into drinking, Starbucks. And when I would, every once in a while I would have a Frappuccino, but I'm having a 1,500 calorie drink that the only way I drink it is if I put all the sugar, all the caramel, all the whipped cream to hide the coffee taste. So why am I drinking it at all?
Wow, there's that many calories in that? That's
I think
crazy.
it's something like 1,500.
Yeah, there's no point in drinking it at that point then.
Yeah.
All the calories and sugar.
sugar,
That's not even coffee at that point.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, if I were to drink straight coffee, I just never acquired a taste for it. And the same thing with alcohol. Never acquired a taste for alcohol either.
Yeah. Well, that's probably good for you.
Yeah. Agreed.
When did you go blue, like with the hair and the nails and everything?
The blue has been coming up on 6 years. And what's really funny is people ask me, well, why blue? Well, blue is my favorite color. But at the time, I was working for My Free Cams. Are you familiar with that?
My for cams?
My Free Cams. It's a cam website,
Okay.
like the dancers and the strippers, and it's they actually, the owner of My Free Cams owns OnlyFans now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay. So it was like a before OnlyFans thing.
it still exists, and that's one of the biggest sponsors of the convention every year. But I worked for them as a photographer. They would hire me to go to all the conventions across the country and sometimes in Canada, and I would shoot photos of the girls as they're camming at the My Free Cams booth in whatever city we're in. And then we would do all different kinds of events. He would get Diplo to spin for a party of 200 girls, and no guys were allowed except for the 3 guys at the top of the company. And anyways, a lot of the girls had different color hair, and I had told myself a long time ago that I was doing no more drastic hair changes. No more. I chopped off my hair once. I went bleach blonde once. No more drastic hair changes. But for over a year, I wanted blue hair. So I finally was like, okay, I'm going to do it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now you got to find some natural hair dye.
Right. Well, actually, I think the hair dye, I haven't looked into it yet because, like I said, I'm going down the list. It's a process. But the hair dye I use, I think, is vegan.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good at least.
Yes.
Yeah, because a lot of the beauty products, man, I feel bad for these women because social media makes them want to look beautiful and then put all this toxic chemicals all over their bodies.
Yep. And
terrible.
I mean, Yuka doesn't even begin to cover a lot of those products. So there is another website that does research on a lot of the products that you use, and I forget what it's called.
Text me it and I'll link it below so people
Right.
watching can
Right. I
find
forget
it.
what the web. It starts with an E.
Is it a site or an app?
It's a website.
Okay.
And it will check a lot of the products that you are using in your everyday lives.
Yeah, because the makeup, the body wash, the deodorant.
It's all skincare stuff too, is that they're checking.
Nice.
So fortunately, my foundation through MAC is pretty good according to that website.
Nice. That's
Yeah.
good.
So I was like, oh, thank God.
There's some deodorants I used to use that would score 0 out of 100. I was
Yep.
like, wow, I was using that for years.
Right.
Isn't that crazy?
So my body wash is like that.
It's a high score.
Yeah, it's a low score.
Oh, it's low.
Yeah, it's bad.
What brand were you using? Not to put them on the spot, but
I use Swagger by Old Spice.
yeah, my deodorant was Old Spice.
So the Old Spice deodorant didn't score that bad on Yuka.
Really?
But the body wash scored bad.
Oh, my deodorant, I used that one and Gillette, and they were both 0. I
Gillette
think.
possibly, but no, I checked it recently.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I switched over to a more natural deodorant, but I ended up having an allergic reaction to it.
Damn.
So I'm still in the process of figuring out what deodorant I want to use. But
Okay.
I'm making my own skincare now. I'm making my own tallow balm, and I put it, all over my skin, and it has made my skin, my heels, my hands the most soft.
Really?
ever.
From tallow?
Yeah.
I need to try that because my lips have been chapped
And I
since
put it
we're
on my lips too.
yeah, in Vegas, and then my hands are always pretty rough. So
I'll bring you some.
okay, a little tallow on the lips.
Yeah, I'll bring you some. I have some jars at home.
Does it smell like meat?
No, so I render it 3 or 4 times to get rid of the meat smell. And then I put doTERRA essential oils in it. So,
nice.
And that's another thing. People have no idea. If you're looking for essential oils, say on Amazon, if you do deep dives into some of those, a lot of them are coming from China. A lot of them coming from China, and the products even at Whole Foods, I don't know if you know this, a lot of the ones that come from China, there's no regulations there. So they might put organic on the bottle and on the label, but it's not necessarily organic.
Wow.
Yeah, you can't trust it.
A lot of people trust that O word,
Yeah.
organic, you know?
And, I switched over to tons of organic stuff, but I know that it's a marketing ploy. And there's certain ways around things that companies get to be able to use that organic label, but it's not necessarily organic. But at the end of the day, I feel like organic's going to be better than non-organic.
Probably, yeah. Even candles. Got to be careful with candles.
Yep, I cut candles out. And then Misha made me a candle. I was like, okay, I trust this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So crazy. I just everyday items we used for years growing up.
No
all of them
more,
were-
what's the spray? Febreze? No more Febreze.
Oh, hell no. My freshman year in high school, we were called Febreze and freshmen, and we brought Febreze cans to the pep rally. We probably took months off our lives just spraying it all over the place.
Yeah. I mean, everything, if it comes from a U.S. company, chances are it's really bad.
Crazy. Well,
Unless the small companies, the companies that you find online
Yeah.
that are making their stuff as natural as possible.
but then they get acquired by the big companies.
Correct.
So then you got to find a
Right.
new one, and it
Yep.
cycles every 6 months.
Yep.
You know?
It's unfortunate, but
Well, I'm glad you shed some light on this. It was cool hearing your story. Where can people find you and learn more from you?
I have so many social media accounts, but I use Tracy Guns for my firearms stuff the most. I also use Ms. Tracy Lee, so MSTRACYLEE, on Instagram, I'm on YouTube, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter, I'm on all of them. So
Perfect.
I'm easy to find because of my bright blue hair.
There we go. We'll link below. Thanks for coming on, Tracy.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Yep. Thanks for watching, guys, as always. See you next time.